I wanted to give a spotlight on one of my favorite transitional fragrances from winter to spring, Healing Berry by Jorum Studios. It is a sustainable, small batch created extrait de parfum, so it is extremely strong. It's very, very unique. I still have the bottle and I still have the packaging. On the back of the packaging, it says it is a Scottish Odyssey. Scottish Odyssey is an exploration of the folklore and the mystery ingrained in our past and present. A contemporary fantasy built around the everyday, extending beyond geography into attitude, humor, and culture, grounded and earthy, joyful, and irrelevant. And I love that. And it was actually made in Scotland. Made in Scotland with flowers coming out of the nose. Simple bottle. It says what it is. It is a 30 ml, but it's so strong. This is all you need. I believe it is $94 on Lucky Scent and $98 on the Jorum Studio website. This fragrance fits into the cottagecore, the elf, the fae, all of those subgroups. This works for that. Also, because it is an extract, I really believe it's made with really real ingredients. I do think beware if you live where there's a lot of bugs. I went outside with it, 2 sprays on, huge hornet right next to me. It's a super well blended fragrance. It has a lot of notes, but they are very well blended. It says smashed to a pulp in a time worm, pestle immortal, a tannin sweet concoction equally fit to heal or harm. The place of reference is Strathmore, which is really, really interesting because when you look into more about Strathmore, it is a broad valley in Scotland, and it's an underlain by an old red stone that is built mostly by obscured glacial till and sand and gravels deposited during the Ice Age. Strathmore is fertile, and it says it has some of Scotland's best farmland producing fruits and cereals, which gets into the notes, which are super, super interesting. It's Artemisia, blackcurrant, absolute, tayberry, willow herb, sloes, wild mint, rose absolute, loganberry, buckler fern, violet leaf absolute, raspberry leaf, orris butter, Himalayan balsam, and a cereal accord. I had to look up many of these. I've had this fragrance for a year or two, or either I sampled it for a while. I've had it over a year. And looking into what all of these berries actually are is pretty cool. Also, foraging berries is a popular hobby in Scotland, so I like that. It's very realistic. This is not a candied, artificial sort of berry. This is a real berry, which is why I often have struggled with berries in fragrance because they just taste, or they smell too artificial and remind me of candy when I was wanting actual fruits. And these give actual fruits without adding extra sweetness for the most part. You can't necessarily smell every single thing, but the things you can smell stand out. It changes over time. I don't always get the same thing. I'm not wearing any on my wrist, so I'm gonna spray some on my wrist. Very nice, huge spray. Now my room's gonna smell like that forever. So the opening, mint, purple fruits, green. If I could simplify it, I would say this is a grown-up gourmand for sure. Willow herb is a cooling, delicate smell. Tayberry is a hybrid of blackberry and raspberry. Flows come from the blackthorn tree, and apparently it's tart. There is a bit of tartness here. Loganberry is a mix of American blackberry and European raspberry. Artemisia is known to be aromatic. And then the ones that you know a little bit more, blackcurrant, well, I know better. Blackcurrant, wild mint, rose absolute, which I do not get. I don't really get rose from this, and I don't love rose at all. Only usually when it's done in a more darker gothic way. Violet absolute, I was also afraid of that. Violet, you can smell the violet, but it's not really in a lipsticky way. And then we get the violet leaf absolute. We get buckler fern, which is hay-like. I think that's one of those just well blended earthy notes that you get in it. The orris butter is supposed to smell like baked bread or violet, so I think that works towards the cereal accord. We have Himalayan balsam, which is known as sweet nectar because there is a sweetness to it, but it's not an artificial sweetness. And the cereal accord, which literally smells like Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles. I wore this on a really hot night, which I do not suggest going to sleep. And I woke up smelling milk and cereal. And I'm sniffing around half asleep, thinking that the heat is fumigating a bowl of cereal that I ate. But I'm looking around, I'm like, I didn't eat cereal. It was this fragrance. And that night, that is all I could pick up. Not my favorite, but that was just that one time. Overall, I'm getting blackberries, the raspberries, the berries, and I'm sure the earthiness of things like the fern and the artemisia, the mint sometimes is very strong. So I do have to be in the mood to wear this fragrance, but it is a good fragrance and it's well done, well blended. You do feel like you understand the story, where it's coming from. I have not tried everything in the line, but I have tried other things that I also like the idea of it. And if you're looking for a realistic berry, not candied, not juvenile, but also something a little whimsical, but also grounded, I think people that like nature, a little bit more bohemian would also appreciate this. However, again, it is an extrait. It is a very hot day. Do not overspray this if you would like to transition it to summer, but it is a perfect cooling sort of spring fragrance in my opinion for niche perfumery.